Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So I am Helena, and I'm one of the leaders of the groups that are going to Peru this year. And I've asked Juan and Ivan Nunes Prado to come along so we can ask some questions that people have been asking me about what the trip is about. So I'd like to ask you these questions so that I don't have to be sending out so many emails. So the first question I wanted to ask was, Juan, could you tell us about the meeting and what this whole trip is about in September?
Well, for years we were opening the two pilgrimages of the Hatun Karpay Paña and the Hatun Karpay Yoke. And for 2012, we organized this new Hatun Karpay. Why we did that? Because we didn't receive this of our teachers, but following the teaching of Don Andrés Espinosa, we were researching. We were researching for places, and finally, after a long time, we found the last place in 2011. And then we organized a meeting in 2012, and we offered this pilgrimage for first time then. It's interesting to know how the whole Andean tradition is about recovering certain levels of consciousness, which were here, but are not here anymore for several reasons, which could be a little longer to explain now. But usually the people is in the Western tradition is in the third level. And with the Hatun Karpay, we were giving or sharing with them the fourth level, which is the level which was shared by our masters with us. But the project of the whole tradition is to recover the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh level. And this is part of a new age. The new age technically started in 2012. It's the beginning of the whole manifestation of the new age. And it's going to be a change in the way of being of the time, to say. It's an age in the old sense of the Greek kairos. I don't know if you are familiar with that. But kairos is the character of an age. And in this case, for us, we are going to move from one age to the new age, which is the Taripay Pacha, which means the meeting time of the human beings. And it's about recovering the first, the second, and the third level. In the beginning, we searched deeply if these levels could be really exist, and we found yes. We found how the fifth level is in the Christian and in the Buddhist tradition, is the level of a total healer. And we found how the enlightenment as being capable to glow is in the Christian tradition and is in the Buddhist tradition too. And we searched deeply about that and to discover if it is available in our times. And after a long research, we found how apparently Carl Jung, the psychologist, stepped in that level, and something which happened to him under a magnolia tree. And then we found how Sri Aurobindo, an Indus guru, experienced the same, which means apparently two persons were able to achieve the sixth level in the 20th century. The experience of Jung was very interesting and was mentioned only by one of his disciples, and apparently happened in Liverpool. The experience of Aurobindo happened when he was writing a huge book he wrote, And every time he starts to write the part of that book, he starts to grow. Well, it shows us it's possible for a human being to arrive to the level of the enlightenment now. Obviously, we didn't see anyone who is in this level until now. And because of that, we are following the tradition to try to recover these two levels, which are the fifth and the sixth. In several traditions, like Christians, they are looking for the second coming of Jesus. The Buddhists are waiting for the arrival of the Maitreya. The Islam people is waiting for the arrival of the prophet of the last times, etc. Several traditions are waiting for a really recovery of that level and the way of an enlightenment. Anyway, even in the Bible, it's predicted how two people are going to recover the sixth level before the second coming of Jesus Christ. Which means it is not only an expectation of the Andean tradition, but an expectation of the most important traditions in the world. And of course, using our way, we are contributing to propel that or support for this new arrival or recovery. But there is something very peculiar. In all the traditions I mentioned, they are looking for the returning back or the arrival of somebody in the sixth level, an enlightened person. But all of them were only male. The only tradition who's looking for the recovery of a level, but for a male and female side, is the Andean tradition. Then knowing this is very special, we recover the places in which you're supposed to make the connections with these levels and couple, and following what Andres Espinosa told us, we recover the places and we offer this for first time. Apparently, to trigger the enlightenment of a couple, you need to have 144 people performing the ritual simultaneously. In 2012, we tried to do it, but we had only 40, okay? Then we plan another trip for 2020 for several reasons, including was 100 years of the recognition of the government of Peru of the status of the Andean Indian communities as part of the nation. And we were, because of that, we were restarting the offering of that. But what happened is the epidemic arrived and we were not able to perform what we were trying to do in 2020. Anyway, we are relaunching this program and we are going to supposed to make it in 2022, okay? And it's going to be a journey of 10 days in which first we are going to go to a sanctuary because the whole tradition is related with sanctuaries and the power of the sanctuaries to which hundreds of thousands people go in the Andean tradition in pilgrimages is going to be the key to trigger the new levels. Then we make the pilgrimage to the sanctuary. Then we travel to Machu Picchu, in which the 6 couples who apparently arrived to this level were following the Andean notion of the Waka. Waka is a power place, usually with big power objects. And the traditions say how if you connect with that, you are going to recover the virtue of the place. In this case, the Royal Palace of Machu Picchu was a place in which the 6 couples were, which means Rico is keeping in certain way the energy of the 6 enlightened couples. Then we go to all the places in which they have a particular ephemerate of these couples. Okay? Starting with Huascarán Incan couple, continuing with Huayna Capac Inca, with Topa Inca, and finally with Pachacuti Inca. Okay? Which are the last Inca couple who were initiated as rulers, and the first couple who experienced the enlightenment, which is the couple of Pachacuti. Of course, in the journey, we touch places related specifically with each of these couples, with this basic idea of the waka, in which if you connect with the place, you are recovering the power which is related with that place. Okay? We cannot know if the royal couple, the enlightened couple, is going to be triggered now. But performing the ritual, we are opening for all the people who's there the opportunity to become candidates to that. Okay? This year, we could have the 144, or maybe not. If we didn't, we are going to run the whole thing, as we did before, making all the people who is immersed in the journey candidates to this new experience. We cannot predict when. What we know is this possibility is open. We have certain signs who really tell us there were a shift of the way of being of the whole humanity, okay? And of course, we are trying to recover that. And even if we don't recover the 6th, because we are going to recover first the 5th, okay? But can you imagine a couple who's capable to heal every disease and every circumstances, okay? To say you have a friend or a relative who has any terminal disease, and you just touch him, and he's going to be healed. It's a very important factor to recover. It means the human beings can evolve into a level in which they can drive directly certain kind of forces who are the healthy forces in the world, okay? The whole tradition is related with living energy. We assume the cosmos in himself is made through living energy. And of course, connecting yourself with living energy is connecting with life. And plenty life and disease is the opposite of the plenty life. Until now, there are certain cases in which people be healed of terminal diseases. But until this level is a random happening. It's not a thing you can predict is going to happen all the time. It's already happening, not only in the Andean tradition, but in several. Like in the ashram of Sai Baba, to say, there were hundreds of people who were healed, but was not always. And the Andean tradition look for a level explicitly insisting in is going to be always. This is our objective. We know we are not in that level. We knew how our master didn't, but they were looking for the same objective. We are keeping the objective of the tradition. So, anyway, for Ivan and me to be initiated in this tradition and becoming connected with the set of wakas of the Hatun Karpay was something which triggered a new kind of life. We can say exactly when we start a new kind of life, which is much more comfortable, much more powerful than what we were living before. And this is only the 4th level. Anyway, the people who come is going to receive the connection with the 4th level and are going to be candidates to the enlightened couple. And in this case, for the possibility of having an enlightened couple, a man and a woman. And in that way, this is a unique tradition. And so I think this is the background.
Thank you for that. Ivan, could you go through some of the kind of logistics of what's going to happen in the program, like maybe answering some of the questions like, will there be much free time? Are we going to be out most of the days? Things like that, you know.
Yes, well, during the trip we have organized program for every day. We're going to be visiting different places, all power places like the one mentioned before. And basically the Hatun Karpay has two parts. The part of the training indoors, which is something that we teach in workshops and seminars, and the part of the work with power places. The Hatun Karpay with power places, like the ones we have been teaching for so long, are about that. We are going to visit a power place, a sacred place, a place where something important happened, and so we understand that the certain quality of energy is kept there, and we will go and connect with the energy of the places with using certain rituals of connection, rituals of empowering, of cleaning or healing. And that's how it goes. Now we're going to visit different places, like, for example, we're going to start with the sanctuary of Huanca, which is a place which is well known in Peru and especially in the area of Cusco. It's a sanctuary related with healings. So it's a place where people go looking for physical healings or healings of all kinds. So we will go there and follow the ways of the ritual connection with the temple, making the process that may trigger a healing. And in that way, we are going to visit Machu Picchu and connect there with the power of the royal couples. As Juan said, this is one of the places where all the royal couples, the rulers of the Incas, the emperor and the empress, the Koya and the Inca, were. So it's a place which gathers the energy of all this time, the last time, or the imperial times of the Inca Empire, and we will go and connect with them. Machu Picchu is a well-known place all over the world, and probably everybody knows where it is, and we are going to visit that too. And we are going to visit places also well known, like the Sacred Valley of the Incas, where Ollantaytambo is. It's a citadel that was built by the Incas. We are going to be in Cusco area, in Cusco city, and visit some other places related with the tradition. Large temples like Moray, which is a huge temple related with Pachamama, like Chinchero, which is a place that was built for Topa Inca, the son of Pachacuti Inca, to rule, because they both were Incas at the same time, and they co-ruled for quite a while. And Pachacuti was living in Cusco, and Topa Inca was living in Chinchero. So it is an important place, and it has a structure that allows to hold a ritual related with the panacas, with the royal families that we are going to play with our group. And for example, we're going to go to Coricocha, which is a lake. Coricocha means the golden lake. Is a lake in the high mountains near Cusco, where we are going to connect with a very important place. According to the history of Pachacuti Inca, the Enlightened, he went to that place, and in that place he performed a ritual. So just next to the lake, there is a spring where he performed a ritual, and the tradition of Pachacuti says that he was enlightened there. This is one of the last places we have found, because we were searching for so long, and we are going to be in the actual place of Pachacuti's enlightenment. And we are going to visit places like Pumamarca, a place related with Mama Anahuarca, the couple, the wife of Pachacuti, the empress, and her family, and which is a very beautiful temple with a feminine power, and we are going to work there. And in Cusco City, for example, we are going to perform a ritual of awakening of the power of the puma. You know, the puma is very important for us. It's in the symbology is the connection with the Caipacha, with this world. Okay, and Cusco City is being built, shaped with this on a plane shaped as a puma. Okay, so it's ruled by the power of the puma. And in that exercise, we are going to awake the power of the puma, connecting with a number of ritual or power places that are in the city, ancient places that are still in use and are still able to be touched and work with them. And finally, one of the most important places we are going to visit is Urcos, the place where Huiracocha Inca, the father of Pachacuti, received the revelation of the metaphysical God. For us, this is a very important historical fact. He was the king of a small kingdom, and he was building an alliance with another king of a close kingdom. And in that time, he, in that place, received the revelation of the metaphysical God of Huiracocha. It's something equivalent to what happened to Moses when he had the revelation of Yahweh. Okay, it's something very important for us. Is the discovery of the revelation of the metaphysical God for the first time ever in all America. Okay, and we are going to visit that place, and we're going to work in that place. And so, as you see, the whole trip, the whole pilgrimage is about looking for specific energies in those power places and connect with them properly, using exercises or rituals that belong to the tradition to be able to incorporate those powers and those qualities. And on the way, we are going to be performing cleaning, healing, and empowering rituals and exercises. That is more or less the idea of the whole journey. Your mic is off.
Thank you. So for somebody that's not a Paco, there's some people that are interested in coming, but they haven't studied any of the tradition before. What would they need to learn or practice before they come?
Well, we introduce certain things in our performance from the beginning. The first thing is we are not sharing the three basic levels, first, second, and third. We are sharing only the fourth level, okay? We did the Paco trail step by step, but we are sharing only the fourth level for a simple reason. According our research, probably every other Western at least a step in the third level. For a very comparative research, we can establish that. And what is missing in the world is the fourth level. And our approach is why we are going to give you something you already have, just using another symbolical patterns. We can offer just what you need, which is this new level for the Western tradition. Okay? Then, as a result of that, we realized how the people can assimilate, and we prove it from the beginning, can assimilate the whole thing directly by doing the four-level initiation and the power places. To have the support of power places is something very important. We were using extensively the knowledge of Carl Jung, and there are part of the book in which he mentioned how he was working in the place, and being in the place, he received strategical information about the power, the place, and what happened there. And he has a version about that. Of course, we have the support of a tradition which speak about the power of the Wakas. But having an experience of a Western scientist who teach you the same thing, for us is an additional support. We were trying to use the science, the Western science, as a bridge between the Andean and the Western tradition, okay? Then it shows us how the places really are keepers of certain kind of quality or certain kind of metaphysical power. And because of that, we trust in that power. We invite the people, and if the people can just open, they can make the connection with the old places, and they can make the connection with the power of all the places of the initiation. And because of that, the people doesn't need to have anything before. It's not a request.
Normally, the Hatun Karpay, this kind of initiation journeys, are made for take persons who don't have any previous experience, because step by step they start to give you the ways to connect and the proper instruction in relation with the power places. So it's not necessary to have any previous knowledge, because not only these, but all the Hatun Karpays that we share are made for that, to take you from zero, step by step, to the knowledge of the tradition. It's a very simple, very direct work with energy that anybody can understand and handle. So it's not necessary to have experience. You can just come.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, and like on that, somebody was asking me about ceremonies, and I suppose that's like part of the rituals as well. They don't need to wear special clothes for it, but how much participation is required? With each kind of ceremony that you would do.
Yeah, well, the ceremonies are structured. Okay, sometimes in certain moment we are going to make a despacho, for example, which is a group offering. But for that, we don't need to have any special kind of dress. Okay? To participate is just more than anything, just to be part of the group and work together with the group than dressing or doing any particular thing or knowing any particular formulas that during the ritual you have to make. No, the directions are normally quite direct and specific, and are things, as I mentioned before, that anybody can follow. Okay. And so that's not, we don't require any special thing to be part of that, of the ritual.
Efficiency is part of the character of the Andean tradition. And efficiency means higher results with lower effort. Simplicity is something which is the character of the basic exercise. And in general, for the whole journey, you need to learn only 3 kind of exercises. And of course, the first day, we are going to share with you that. And after the first day, you can perform it by yourself. And these basic tools are enough to allow you to connect with the power of the places, which is the real source, which is going to trigger in you the process.
Great. Good. Okay, so then a few other little questions about like acclimatization. And what would the fitness level need for, what fitness level would people need to be at for the trip?
Of course, during the trip, we are going to be walking. We are going to maybe do some light hiking in 1 or 2 days, but it's not so hard, it's not so big. So worst case scenario, you will have to make lots of steps, but it's not just that you are going to be climbing rocks or mountains like that. It's going to be a trail that has many steps and will take some time, but we will make it. It's not difficult. It's not risky in any way. Normally, of course, you need to have a normal physical condition. You don't have to be fit to do the Hatun Karpay. Of course, you need to be aware that Cusco is at 3,500 meters above the sea level. It's quite high. And this is normally important to know to prepare, just to take things a little bit easy. We know very well that most of the people, almost absolutely everybody, will get adapted to this altitude. Normally it takes you a couple of days of taking the things a little bit easier than normal, and then you will feel just fine, okay? It sounds like a lot, 3,500 meters. In certain moments, for example, when we go to Coricocha, we are going to be just around 4,000 meters, which is not yet the height of Mont Blanc, but in Europe, no? But in the Andes, this is just another high mountain. It's not the highest, and in general, it's quite comfortable. The weather is quite mild, even for being at this altitude. And in September, it tends to be even a little warm. So it's not a big problem. The physical part should not be a problem.
Maybe you need a pair of hiking boots, comfortable. You need a blue jean, and you need a jacket, a medium jacket, not exactly a very heavy jacket for the high mountains, but to say a jacket to use in spring in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You were leading me into you're answering my next question, which is great. So it was all about the clothing and equipment and that type of thing. Well, there will be because you're so high up, a good sunscreen, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And a big floppy hat to cover your face.
Well, at this altitude, yes, the sun's so strong, so it's good to have and wear hat all the time and sunscreen and things like that. And well, about the trip, we are always going to be staying at hotels. So we don't have any night or sleeping outdoors or anything like that. We are most of the time going to be eating in restaurants. Some days we may have a box lunch because of the length of the program, but we mostly are going to eat in a proper restaurant with all the facilities that are needed.
Mm-hmm. And people just have to pay for their drinks, don't they? It's not, the food is included most of the time, I think. And people just
we include in the program. We include, of course, hotels, transportation, tickets. Of course, the teaching is included, and for the food, we include 2 meals a day. So normally it's breakfast and lunch. We always advise people to eat very light or preferably not eating at night because at this altitude the digestion goes slower. So we offer these 2 meals a day. Normally the drinks are not included, so they have to pay for their own drinks. And of course, if you want to give tips or things like that, also it's a part. It's extra.
Oh. I was going to ask as well, the Caro will be with us for some parts of the trip as well.
Yes.
So should we bring some stuff to give to them, for the children, that type of thing?
Well, we are going to be working with a team of Caro masters that are going to be with us most of the time. We are going to make rituals and offerings together. And what we normally do is they always have some things to offer. Of course, they are going to be paid by the group for their services as professional pacos, right? In the first place, this is their job. So they have a job doing that with us. Second, Normally, they will have very nice and fine traditional clothing and ritual clothing like mastanas, the little blankets that are used for mishas, and some other beautiful things that people can buy anytime. And of course, if you decide to bring some gifts for families and things, which is always not, but it's not mandatory, you can do it. And it will be a moment for share this with them, or if it's necessary, we are going to make sure that we collect them and send them properly to their families. You know? So it's not mandatory to bring them, but some people like to make gifts to the families and the kids, so that would be nice too.
Yeah. So you mentioned mishas there. So do people need to bring some kuyas, some stones from their own country?
Well, the misha, the ritual bundle, the ritual pack that we use as packers, it's a collection of sacred power objects that you may have, and it's not usually covered or held by by a bag or a blanket. Normally, we use blankets or bags that are traditional things that they do, you know? And you don't have to own a misha before. You can also make it in the way. And we are going to explain you how to start a misha if you don't have one. And if you do have one, then you know how to use it. And of course, you can make it grow during the trip by collecting new power objects, by getting them or making them if you want.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Good to know. I think that's everything. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Unless there's anything else that you want to add about.
Well, something about the big picture. For us, this is a very great time. Almost everybody knows that things are changing so much. We are entering a new way, a new life, and the last couple of years of events are going to put us in a position that we really need to start doing things in a different way. Mm-hmm. So our masters, from the beginning of our learning with them, we're always saying that you have to develop your powers, your munai, your feelings, your yankai, your actions, and your yacha, your knowledge. Okay, and they told us that the karpais, the initiations, are the training process to make yourself owner of those powers. And the tradition says that the people in the new era, in the new age, which is called the Taripai Pacha, the time of the human understanding, what we are living now, need to own those powers, okay? So the thing in the back is that to feel comfortable in the new world, in the world as it is, in the global society, those factors are going to be vital for our own, well, maybe survival, but most of all, to feel comfortable in the new life, in the new world. So the background there is about that. Our trainings are always focused in preparing people to be owners of their feelings, their actions, and their knowledge in order to be in the best possible shape to live the world that is starting now. And this journey is exactly about that, about helping people and empowering people in the search of the enlightenment, but on the way we can learn many things. And as you know, as Juan was saying before, the entering in the fourth level can really change your life. It can really change your approach to life and can make of your life a more powerful and meaningful and conscious way of being. So it's something that people can really take from a journey like this. Okay. Try to learn and incorporate in your life a new vision and a way to understand the world. And then, as a consequence of that, a new way of being for yourself. Okay. The levels we always talk about are an ontological thing. Okay, it's not just an idea, it's really a way of bringing a complete approach to the world. And as we all can see, Now it's time to adjust our approach to the world and to life. So those tools are meant for that. And I just invite you to join if you can. Can be a life-changing journey if you decide to take it.
It so is.
There were a global wave about the turning point, which is going to happen. And the tradition have something like a protocol about that. They say the Pachacuti, the real cosmical transmutation is going to happen from 90 to 93. Then you are going to have a time to prepare yourself, which is going to run from 93 to 2000. And then you have a time in which the new way is going to be manifest. And this is from 2000 to 2012. But was not only a prophetical fashion, which by several traditions, they were announcing this change of age. But there is a book, it's a book of Samuel P. Huntington, The Clash of Civilization and the Reconfiguration of the World Order. If you read that book, you are going to realize how a reconfiguration of the world order happened. And this is a scientific book. The closest word I can find for a Pachacuti, which means a cosmical transmutation, is the reconfiguration of the world order. If you read that book, you are going to see how from 1990 to 2000, the book was right around 2000, a lot of things really shift in the world. And we are really living in something totally different. Is the end of a system and is the rising of a new one. And of course, the forces in this new one are going to be higher. And to be comfortable in that new world, you need to be capable to handle higher forces than before. It's just make yourself comfortable for the new kind of life which is emerging all over the world.
What's not to like about that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. That's been really enlightening. I'm so looking forward to our trip. It was life-changing for me 10 years ago, so I can really say that it's going to be life-changing for so many other people, hopefully, as well.
Well,
So
thank you very much.
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.